I can't believe it's already time for this, but let's pick my October TBR. If you're new here, my name is Eve, and I pick my TBR in a very specific way. First, I pick 5 prompts. Today we're gonna be using a TBR prompt generator just from online because I don't have any with me. I pick a prompt, it's gonna say something like, book that's been on your TBR for the longest, and then I'll pick a book that correlates with that prompt. So I pick 5 of those. I also have a TBR jar that just has every single book that I own that I have not yet read written on a little slip of paper and put into the jar. We are also going to be choosing 5 of those. So in total, we're gonna have 10 books on my October TBR. Now I will stop rambling. We will just get straight into this. First, we're gonna be choosing from the TBR prompts, and I will just immediately pick a book after a prompt is picked. So let's get right into it. Oh, I forgot to mention, this right here is my fall TBR. So I am primarily going to be picking books from this section right here to read in October. But then obviously once I pick the books from the TBR book jar, that's just random and wild and we don't know what's gonna be picked. But I am going to try to pick books from this section right here. Hello, it is Future Eve here. Before we get into the rest of this video and pick out my October TBR, I did want to discuss the books I read in September. So I ended up reading 12 books, which is a lot better than last month. Last month I read only 5 books in the month of August. And yeah, this month I read 12. I don't know what happened. It was a great reading month. I'm not gonna go super into detail because I want to keep this video nice and short, but I did start off the month with Life on the Rocks by Julie Bearwald. This is a nonfiction book about coral reefs that I rated 5 stars. It was so wonderfully done. Everything about this book was just perfect in my opinion. It was the perfect nonfiction book. It also tied in real world issues going on. I mean, obviously coral is a real world issue, and like the preservation of it, the regrowth of it. It's everything about it is so good. I love this book. Then I read A Reaper at the Gates. This is by Saba Tahir, book number 3 in An Ember in the Ashes. So good. Just a really great YA fantasy series. I rated this one 4.5 stars. Then I read Harry Potter's book 1, 2, and 3, and all of them were 5-star. This is a reread of the series for me, and it has been literally the most fun ever. I'm having such a great time with it. I then read Snow Globe. This is by So Young Park. This one I didn't really care for that much. I think I'm gonna rate it 2.5 stars. It started out so promising, but it's like the whole story just got so like convoluted and confusing that by the end I was like, I am so ready for this to be done and I will not be continuing the series. I then read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is a gothic classic and I rated this one 5 stars. It was so much fun. I just want more books that feel like Jane Eyre. Then I read Our Infinite Fates. This is by Laura Stephen, a YA romance that spans over 1,000 years and it was so beautiful. I cried so much and this was 5 stars. Next I read The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston and I gave this one 5 stars. I'm telling you, I had the best time reading this month. This one was a romance between a woman and her editor. Yeah, like she's a ghostwriter and it's a romance with her editor. She can see ghosts. He becomes a ghost one day. It's crazy, but it was so good. Then I read another Ashley Poston book, which was Sounds Like Love. This one I rated 4 stars. It was between a songwriter and a famous singer. This was the only book of hers that I've not rated 5 stars, and it was simply just because I didn't connect to it as much as I connected to the other books, and I didn't like the main male character as much as I wish I would have, but it was still really good. I loved the setting in the Outer Banks and it was just a really great time still, so I would still definitely recommend it. Then I read The Two Towers, which is book number 2 in The Lord of the Rings. I gave this one 4 stars and I really love The Lord of the Rings, but I do think I like the movies more than the books and that's a-okay with me. I still really enjoy the book series. And especially the audiobooks. It's done by Andy Serkis on Audible, and he does such a phenomenal job. Then I ended off the month with Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson, and she can do no wrong. I gave this one 4 stars. The only reason it's not 5 stars, oh, let me first say it is a middle grade thriller. But the reason I didn't give this one 5 stars is because I felt like the ending was so rushed. It just felt like the whole book was so good, just building up to the climax of the story. And then it was like, well, here's what happened. Bye. But it was still very, very good. If you are not a fan of thrillers, if you tend to get spooked and paranoid easily like me, I would really recommend reading Blood in the Water. It was so great and not scary at all. And those were all the books that I read in the month of September. Now let's get back to my October TBR. So let's spin our first TBR prompt. It always takes so long and it's so awkward to wait. So our first spin is a TBR vet. That just means it's been on my TBR for a very long time. Let's take a look at this section right here. All right, the book I've chosen is Rewitched. This is by Lucy Jane Wood. I've had this book on my TBR for a little bit under a year because I believe I got this in November, and I've specifically wanted to read it in October because it is set in October. On the back it just says, in this spellbinding, warm and cozy debut novel, a burned out witch will need to turn to her friends and trust herself to find the magic in her own life again. I've just heard raving reviews about this book and I am so excited to read this. This is like my most anticipated read for October, specifically even for the whole fall season. And look how cute this cover is. I love it so much. So our very first book for October is going to be Rewitched. Now let's spin again. Our second TBR prompt is a happy book. This is so weird because I got both of these prompts for my last TBR video, and clearly you can see there's a lot of prompts on here. I think the book I'm going to pick for a happy book is going to be In the Labyrinth of Drakes by Marie Brennan. This is book number 4 in her Lady Trent series, and I'm choosing this because this series makes me happy. It is so wonderful. It's just about a dragon naturalist, which is basically just someone who is obsessed with dragons. She loves everything about them and she studies them. She goes out into the world and just does crazy wild things, goes on these incredible adventures to study dragons and to inform the rest of the world about dragons because there is not a lot of information out there. I just love this series so much. I have 2 books left in it, so I really want to read this one next. And it also has like the cutest little dragon drawings throughout because she, Lady Trent herself, draws like pictures of dragons. So I am going to be putting In the Labyrinth of Drakes on my October TBR. Let's spin for the third prompt. We got a mood read. Okay, this is just a book I want to read, and I'm definitely still gonna be picking from this list. Let's see. I think we're gonna pick A Sky Beyond the Storm. This is the final book in An Ember in the Ashes, and I just desperately want to get to this. I am really sad that the series is gonna be ending, but it has just been the best time ever, and I already know in the future I'm gonna reread this series because this is literally just, it's so incredible. So our third book is going to be A Sky Beyond the Storm. Okay, time for our fourth spin, and we have softcover, which is a lot of these, so let's see. I think we're gonna be picking a small one, and that is Coraline. This is by Neil Gaiman. I think we have all heard of Coraline. It is one of the best animated movies out there. I love it so much, and I've never read the book, so I'm intrigued. A lot of people say the movie is better, and the author is very problematic, but I do want to read this book. I also just really love the edition that I got. Anyways, fourth book is Coraline. All right, our final TBR prompt is going to be nonfiction. Well, I do have one nonfiction on this list, so that is perfect. We are going to be picking The Devil and Sherlock Holmes. This is by David Grant, my favorite nonfiction author. So this one just says, from the best-selling author of Killers of the Flower Moon, a brilliant collection of true stories about people whose fixations propel them into unfathomable and often deadly circumstances. So I'm very excited to read this. I've had this one for a long time as well. and I just know I'm going to love it. So our 5th book on our TBR is going to be The Devil and Sherlock Holmes. All right, that was it for the TBR prompt portion of this video. Now it is time to pick our 5 random books, and I am quite nervous, so let's just pick. This part always just stresses me out because I have no say. So for the first book in this section, we're going to be reading. Okay, I'm going to veto because I can't read this right now. It is The Three Musketeers. I'm so sorry. I can't read that right now. It is so long. I hate like putting books back into here, but sometimes for my own sanity, I have to. So we're gonna pick again, and the book is, oh, this is Hell on Mars, but I actually don't own this anymore. I tried to read it, there was too much cussing, so no to that. All right, this is already starting off pretty rough. Let's try for the 3rd time. We have The Last Astronaut. Okay, let me go grab that. All right, this is a book I can definitely see myself reading in October. It's like a sci-fi, I think, horror book, and it's by one of my favorite sci-fi authors. He wrote Paradise 1. I loved it so much. This one says, a large alien object has entered the solar system on a straight course toward Earth. It has made no attempt to communicate and is ignoring all transmissions. Out of time and out of options, NASA turns to former mission commander Sally Jansen. Jansen was their leading astronaut until a mission to Mars ended in disaster. Haunted by her failure, she lives in quiet and anonymity, convinced her days in space are over. She's wrong. It sounds so good, and I am actually very, very happy this was chosen. So yes, The Last Astronaut. This is not gonna fit. Okay, number 2 for this section. We'll just go with this one right on top. And this says, Star Wars Trilogy. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be an intense TBR. Let me go grab that. Here we have the Star Wars Trilogy. This is, yeah, this is daunting. It is quite thick. So this book is pretty much just the first 3 movies that were released, which is A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, all just bound up into one book. I mean, I know I'm going to love it because Star Wars is like one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's just a really long book, so I'm a little nervous. It's like 700 pages almost, but we can do it, right? We can do it. 3rd book. That's kind of crazy we have 2 sci-fis also. I do love sci-fi. Between Species. This is a nonfiction. Let me go grab that. This is such an interesting TBR. But we have Between Species, or do we say species? Between Species? I don't know. This is celebrating the dolphin-human bond. If you know me, you know my favorite animal is a dolphin. I even have a dolphin tattoo. It's just my favorite animal ever. Someone decided to mow their lawn, so I don't know if you can hear that. But anyways, on the back it says, it combines the deep wisdom of space, the magic of poetry, and the perspective of history in a rare and moving tribute to the natural affinity people have for dolphins, and vice versa. A treasure trove of information, it is a valuable volume for all who care about the ocean. So this seems like a perfect book for me. I have been wanting to read this for a very long time, so I'm glad I finally have a good excuse to, and I'm definitely gonna make this a priority. We have 2 books left on this TBR, so let's pick wisely. This one is The Sirens. Let me go grab that. So many books I was just not expecting to read anytime soon, but I'm actually so happy. So this is The Sirens. It is one of the most beautiful books that I own. I just love it. I believe this is like told in multiple different generations. I don't really know too much about it. I don't really want to read this entire synopsis, but it says, they tried to drown our voices, but the Sisterhood of the Sea cannot be silenced. I don't know. I haven't heard a single review on this book, but I am very, very much intrigued. It says, a mythical journey through time, evoking ancient tales of the sea and female bonds that are tested but never broken. So we have The Sirens on our October TBR. Now our final book is about to be chosen, and I'm a little bit nervous. I would like one more fall book because a lot of these are honestly like more summery, but our last book is, I picked The Devil and Sherlock Holmes. Okay, well that's already on our TBR. So How about this one? Oh my gosh. It's When the Moon Hatched, but I'm also going to put that back in because I can't do that right now either. Okay, this one feels right. I'll have you read it. Can you read that? I don't know if you can. Oh. Crime and Punishment. I can actually do that. That's literally on my fall TBR. Okay. Right here, Crime and Punishment. This is by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is like one of the most famous classics ever. I just read a classic in September and it became one of my favorite books. So I can't wait to read this. This is very doable. I'm very happy about this. My camera is about to die. I normally do a recap, but it's gonna die. So I'll do a really quick recap. So we have Crime and Punishment, The Sirens, Between Species, The Last Astronaut, Star Wars, The Devil and Sherlock Holmes, Coraline, A Sky Beyond the Storm, what is this called? In the Labyrinth of Drakes, and finally, Rewitched. I'm so excited to get to all of these books. I think October is going to be an incredible month, and I can't wait to see what it has in store for me. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.